Okay, now we got the guts. Here's your compensating sprocket up here. And forgive me if the terminology is not right. I was never an official Harley dealer mechanic. We called it what we thought they were and what sounded good to us. Of course, here's the clutch assembly over here. This is the ring gear for the starter. Good time to make sure there's no damage to it or the pinion on the starter motor itself over here in the corner. And of course, here's the main concern is the primary chain. That's got, oh, look at all that slop. Way too much. When you've got a lot of slop in the chain, it's going to affect the shift quality and of course vibration more than needs to be there. And it rides on this plastic shoe. Undecided yet. We'll see when we go back together. We might put in an automatic or semi-automatic tensioner to help maintain the chain and get maybe some longer life out of it. Again, really surprised that it didn't last as long, or should have lasted longer than what it did. Want to make sure we take a good look at the sprockets, especially the teeth in the sprockets. Let's see if we can get a closer look at that. Okay, here's the culprit that we're going after. It's the primary chain assembly. You can see you got a manual adjustment, a little plastic shoe that the chain rides on, but even with the max adjustment, way too much slack. Too much slack is going to affect the shift quality and increase the vibration, and it's not good. It's just not good. So we need to take care of that before we take any more long hauls with the bike. Want to make sure we check the sprocket wear here, both on the front sprocket, and I don't know if I can get a shot there at the back one. We'll get a closer look at that as we take things apart. Check the ring gear here for the starter, make sure there's no damage, as well as the pinion gear on the starter motor itself. And while we're at it, might as well go ahead and take a look at the clutch plates, see if there's any wear or tear that if we might as well go ahead and fix it while we're in here, right? Okay, next thing we gotta do is get the primary chain tensioner off. So we're gonna move these little lock tabs off the two lower nuts. And get a socket on there. And now we're going to loosen the two lower ones. And then we're going to loosen up that big old top one. Okay, there comes the tension off the chain. I don't know if you can see in there. We'll try to shine some light on there so you can see a little better. So you can see how this is stepped. It's like teeth. So it gets up and that helps secure it in place so it doesn't try to slide. It's just a little extra part. So we make sure again that that's in good shape too. Now's the time to fix anything that looks even somewhat suspicious, because the last thing we want to do is have a failure with this tensioner assembly. Okay, we take a look at the tensioner plastic. This is actually in pretty good shape. There's no grooving to it at all. Probably because there's no tension on it for most of this bike's life. The primary chain tension needs to be checked every 5,000 miles on this model, and I'm willing to bet that it was never done, or not done very often. Again, set the parts off to the side together so you know what goes with what. Makes the reassembly job a whole lot easier. All right, now the service manual says that I need to take all this off as an assembly, and doing the new chain probably do, but I got enough room I think to get the chain over the front sprocket. I do need to take the clutch off because I'm not going to clear the ring and pinion for the starter, certainly, and I want to take a look at the clutch. I want to check the plates and see what kind of wear is in there. So we're going to first get in here and get the hold of this little snap ring. Be careful, those things aren't, it's a spring, and it's easy to have the thing get away from you. Or not cooperate. So after a few attempts, we finally got that guy out of there. Again, set it off to the side, keep everything in one place. Okay, and then I'm just going to grab the jam nut adjusting rod, pull that whole plate out, set that off to the side. I got the push rod in there, we can grab a hold of that. No, we can, no critical, we'll get to it later. And then inside I got a big nut. You gotta see if we can get to that big nut. Okay, now here's a good example of what can happen if you're not reading your directions. The nut on this is a left-hand thread. So if you didn't know that, and you just start hammering away, trying to break it off like you break off your tire, you're going to mess something up. So instead of lefty loosey, righty tighty, this is the opposite. And yes, I cheated. Okay, now we get like I said, I figured I'd have enough slop in this old chain to get the clutch assembly off. But I'm definitely not going to be able to put the new one on that way. So here's the old chain. And now we're ready to start taking a look at what we need to get back in the wind.